All right, let's jump to DMZ, my favorite game mode so far in the Warzone. In Season 1, the AI in DMZ were challenging. Yes, they were, but the ramp-up of difficulty was often steep with some players getting overwhelmed. Yeah, depends where you spawn. Some of the map places were really trash. With Season 2, we introduced a number of balance changes to adjust the types of AI spawning. Perfect. The number of AI spawning. Perfect. And the accuracy of AI at the range and much more. Okay, that is really good because they felt like snipers when you were like rocking an SMG. All of this should provide a challenging but manageable play space that still requires player respect of enemy combatants in DMZ. Yes, that's exactly what DMZ should encourage. You need to engage every bot with the respect that an enemy combatant might come to challenge you. And that's perfect. That's something that should stay in DMZ, and this is why I like it. Spawn points. We're turning some of the infill points across Al Mazrah for improved early match experience based on gameplay data. Starting at a point at which your squad feels isolated or without loot and contract opportunity is not a best experience. True. This week should improve spawn points across the mode. The only thing you can do in Tarak Village is either run for 30 minutes to get to the first car or the first objective, or immediately go into a fight. So I think this is actually a great change. Another one is the spawn point left of Police Academy. That one's also dog shit because you just missed the train, so your entire loot goes out the door, and then you spawn in a town where there is no loot around, no contracts around, and no people around. Like, there is no point spawning there. What they could do to change that, because that spawn point is still good in regards to like overall gameplay, because one spawn point should be there, but there should also be contracts in that city, but not enough to make that a focal point of DMZ. I think this is really good. I hope they'd improve that, but we'll see. I think in DMZ, it's really difficult to get good loot unless you have keys. But if you do get a key, you will not always spawn on the side where you have the key for, so you will have to drive a lot. What they could do to improve that is make keyed houses, so locked spaces. They could make that a more streamlined loot, and then they would make like generic keys. So let's say a key that opens something in Rohan Oil, or a key that opens something in Al Mazrah City. I know that's not the most ideal thing because they kind of diminish the value of loot, but it would make for a better experience. So if you lose all your loot, you can infill with a key, which is a risk because you spawn in with one shield. But at least like if you spawn in a vicinity of where you can use that key, it would take you like 5 minutes to get decent loot instead of dealing with a million bots or enemy players with shitty loot. I don't think they're ever going to introduce that change. I think that's something that I can only wish for, but I think that would be a great change because right now we have like over 30 keys that open over 30 spots in like over 17 places in the DMZ, which is insane. Data and feedback reinforced that the faction missions difficulty ramp was too aggressive for many players. Yes, it was. I kind of get what they're trying to do. Missions need to be difficult, especially if you're a completionist like me. They need to be difficult because otherwise you complete the missions in the first 2 weeks when the new season launches, and then you have nothing to do for the next 1.5 months or maybe even 2 months. But what's the most piece of shit thing is basically, so if I like DMZ, I'm supposed to be playing DMZ all the time. Look, you gave me 3 great modes. You gave me Warzone, you gave me multiplayer, and you gave me DMZ, and you gave me Building 21. Let me play all of those modes. I don't want to focus on one mode for the entire fucking season, especially if there's a wipe at the end of it. But that's just my mentality. I don't think they're ever going to take that approach because they're only DMZ players and they're only Warzone players and they're only multiplayer players. That was a difficult thing to say. And I get it, like they need to get busy. So multiplayer players have camos, Warzone players have nukes, DMZ players have missions. I get that. I don't think it should take 2 months to complete a tier 5 mission. Some of the tier 5 missions were really trash. Later tier missions will still be quite challenging, even for the experienced operator. Perfect. That is good. Challenging is good. Grindy is bad. But we believe more straightforward access to an additional insured slot will provide a better path forward for all players. Yes, thank you. I hope they introduce the second insured slot when you finish the first tier 3 complete mission set, just like they did for the tier 5, so you don't have to grind the entire season for tier 5s. It would be like, oh, you completed a tier 3 set, perfect, you get an insured weapon slot. They basically hinted here. I think this is the hint that they will also be resetting the insured slots, which is also good. I think everyone starts anew. We're getting there. Crashes, okay, I don't care about crashes. I think they're gonna fix this. I think like I've mostly had a stable game. There were like 2 or 3 crashes in the entire season. There were like key moments for me where I was like really pissed off. There were also some disconnects where I was trying to play with friends, but whatever. I mean, that will always get addressed, so that just goes without saying. All right, seasonal refresh. All new missions are coming to Season 2, including a refresh of your current faction mission progress and an inventory reset. Contraband and keys. Okay, that's good. We will be detailing all the need-to-know intel for DMZ ahead of Season 2 in an upcoming blog. Perfect. All right, so we don't know everything, but they're going to tell us the rest of it in an upcoming post. With the new Inclusion zone coming to Season 2. Ooh, okay, so they're hinting at something here. Players will have a third option to choose from when deploying in DMZ. Okay, so Al-Mazrah building 21 and Exclusion zone? Is that what I'm understanding here? The faction mission refresh will provide new missions that send you across these destinations, including building 21. We suggest you and your squad gear up for infiltration first. I mean, don't get me wrong, building 21 was fun. It was really super fun, but you did not need gear to complete building 21. So we'll see how Exclusion zone is. I wouldn't mind if they make Exclusion zone like a really high risk, medium reward kind of thing. Like where you are obligated to come in with good gear and then try to complete your mission and worrying about like losing your loot, because that would be the most difficult thing. Like you are not getting any loot, you're not getting any better loot, but you are progressing your missions if you infill. Because building 21 right now is you can infill with trash loot 3 times and you're probably gonna end up getting good loot at the end of it, especially if you have keys. I'm excited for the DMZ changes.